Baba Vanga's Forbidden List. Only These Souls Will Survive 2025. They say if you sit in silence long enough, the world starts speaking back. Through flickers of intuition, dreams you can't explain, and moments where time seems to pause, like the universe is reminding certain souls they were never meant to be ordinary. What if I told you that some people, just a few, are already marked to survive what's coming? Long ago, a blind mystic from Bulgaria, known as Baba Vanga, whispered of a hidden list. A list not written on paper, but etched into the very rhythm of fate. She saw the collapse of nations, the rising of the unseen, and those rare ones who would walk through the fire untouched. But who are they? What makes them different? And could you be one of them? Before we journey deeper into the unknown, take a breath. If something inside you stirs, like you've always known you were meant for more, then, like this video, share it with someone who's been feeling the same, and subscribe to the Journey of Wisdom, because this isn't just a prophecy, it's a mirror held up to your spirit. And by the end of this video, you may discover you've been on the list all along. Number 1. The Prophecy and the Chosen Few. Baba Vanga, the blind mystic born in 1911 in what is now North Macedonia, has long intrigued the world with her chillingly accurate prophecies. Blinded as a child by a mysterious tornado, she was gifted with what many believe to be a form of true sight, a rare ability to see beyond the veil of time and space. Her predictions have echoed through generations, whispering warnings of global disasters, shifting powers, and even contact with extraterrestrial life. Yet, buried among her more public forecasts was a quieter, more cryptic revelation, a secret list. This list, she said, named a small group of souls who would survive the energetic upheaval coming in 2025, not by force or wealth, but by their unique vibration, a deep resonance with the natural rhythms of the earth and the universe itself. In a world spinning faster with noise, these individuals, the so-called chosen few, remain calm centers of truth and remembrance, not because they dominate, but because they align. As we approach the midpoint of the decade, many feel a kind of inner tremor, an unspoken awareness that something is shifting beneath the surface of our everyday lives. If you've ever found yourself feeling disconnected from society's constant race, or if you've ever sensed that you're waiting for a time, a task, or a transformation that hasn't yet arrived, you are not alone. That feeling might not be confusion, it could be a calling. Baba Vanga's message wasn't just about survival in the physical sense. She foresaw a storm of energy, a vibrational divide that would cleanse the earth, not destroy it. In this great spiritual purging, only those who remember who they are at their core, those who live in truth, humility, and harmony, would pass through untouched. These are not elite or chosen by any earthly power. They are chosen by their frequency, their ability to remain in tune with what is real, even as the world forgets itself. The idea of a vibrational storm may sound abstract, but in the context of modern life it becomes deeply relatable. We live in a time saturated with artificiality, curated identities on social media, endless consumer distractions, and a loss of community connection. Stress and anxiety have become the new normal, but underneath this surface-level chaos, there is a rising undercurrent of people choosing to live differently. People simplifying their lives, walking away from toxic systems, reconnecting with nature, practicing stillness, and tuning into what some call intuition and others might call spirit. These are modern signs of alignment. The chosen few are not prophets or saints. They are ordinary people doing extraordinary inner work, healing generational trauma, showing compassion even when it's inconvenient, choosing truth over comfort. Baba Vanga's list may have seemed otherworldly, but the qualities she described are deeply human. She spoke of individuals in riddles, but those riddles are mirrors reflecting traits many of us recognize. The child born under a rare sky who feels the emotions of others as if they were his own. The woman whose compassion touches animals and strangers alike. The boy who cannot bear to see harm done, even to an insect. The man who lives so truthfully he cannot lie, even when silence would serve him better. The elder who gives without keeping count. These figures aren't meant to be myths. They're reminders of what we can be when we live in alignment with higher values. They are found among us, often unnoticed. The quiet neighbor who always checks in. The nurse who treats every patient like family. The teacher who sees the potential in every child. These are the frequencies that matter in 2025. Not wealth, not influence, but resonance. What does this mean for you? It means that survival, in Baba Vanga's vision, is less about preparing for disaster and more about preparing the soul. It means asking yourself hard but important questions. Do I live in truth? Do I honor nature? Do I extend kindness even when I receive none in return? In today's noisy world, it's easy to feel lost or insignificant. But the truth is, alignment is a quiet revolution. It's in the way you treat a stranger, the way you care for the earth, the way you listen, really listen, when someone is in pain. And if you've ever felt like you don't quite fit in, like your values are from another time, you may be closer to that hidden list than you think. As we move toward this predicted turning point in 2025, the advice is simple but powerful. Slow down, clear the clutter mentally and physically, and return to the basics of being human. Care, listen, serve, reflect, seek stillness. These are not lofty spiritual ideals. They are practical, daily choices that recalibrate our energy. In this way, each of us has the power to raise our own vibration, to step into the role of a quiet guardian of truth. Whether you believe in Baba Vanga's prophecy or see it as a metaphor for the spiritual crossroads we now face, the lesson remains the same. Those who endure are not the ones who fight the storm, but those who flow with its wisdom. So if someone comes to mind as you hear this, a friend, a child, a neighbor whose light has always quietly shined, leave their initials in the comments. Let's remind each other that we're not alone, that the world still holds space for those who walk in silent harmony. And maybe, just maybe, the list wasn't forbidden. It was simply waiting for us to remember. Number 2. Guidance and signs. Let's talk about something that might feel strange at first, yet deeply familiar to a part of you that's always been quietly listening. Baba Vanga, the blind mystic from Bulgaria, made many predictions, but one of the most haunting and perhaps most relevant for us today is what she said would happen in the year 2025. Not a war, not famine, not a disaster we can see and touch. No, she spoke of something more subtle but just as real, a shift in frequency. She described it as a heaviness that people would feel in their bodies and minds, a weight on their dreams, an invisible fog of anxiety, forgetfulness, disconnection. And while the world might scramble for medical answers or new labels for mental health conditions, she warned that the real cause would be a vibrational misalignment. The world would begin to vibrate differently, and only those who learned to resonate with the new frequency would find peace, clarity, and survival. Not just physical, but emotional and spiritual. What does it mean to align with a frequency? Baba Vanga was clear. Survival won't come through resistance, but through transformation. She said the ones who survive will not be those who fight the change, but those who become the change. This message isn't about fear, it's about preparation. Not just stocking up food or finding shelter, but becoming a place of shelter within yourself. Those who are already tuning into this shift are doing so not with effort, but with presence. Through quiet moments, through meditation, through listening more than speaking. They're remembering a truth we all once knew, that everything is connected. That love isn't just a feeling, but a real energy. That your thoughts don't just affect your mood, they shape your reality. And what about those who don't shift with the frequency? According to her, they'll experience breakdowns, not always visible from the outside, but deeply felt inside. Confusion, emotional overwhelm, a sense of being lost even when everything looks normal. Meanwhile, those aligned with the new energy won't be untouched by the world's chaos, but they'll move through it differently, with a strange peace, a quiet confidence, a deep smile, even as things fall apart. They'll feel the storm, but they'll know how to breathe through it. Some, Baba Vanga said, will even be called to specific places, sanctuaries not marked by signs or borders, but by energy. Ancient places where nature still speaks and remembers, places like the Rhodope Mountains in Bulgaria, or hidden valleys in the Andes and Himalayas. But she also hinted at something deeper, that these sacred spaces may not be places at all, but states of being. She once said, "To find the safe place, enter the space between two breaths." Think about that for a moment. What could it mean to live in that space, between the inhale and the exhale, where nothing is grasped and nothing is pushed away? That's presence. And from that space, signs begin to appear. Not big neon ones, but soft whispers of guidance. Animals crossing your path without fear, numbers like 111 or 333 showing up repeatedly, vivid dreams of water turning into light, or even a deep and sudden pull to change your job, move away or start fresh. These aren't hallucinations. Baba Vanga called them activations. Inner signals that you're tuning in, waking up, aligning. So here's where you come in. Have you been feeling any of this lately? A shift you can't explain? An uneasiness that doesn't make sense on paper? A pull towards something that logic can't name? This could be the very guidance she spoke of. The real question is, are you listening? And more importantly, are you willing to trust what you hear, even if no one else does? The deeper lesson here is this: we are not powerless in the face of change. The world may shift, frequencies may rise, and old systems may collapse, but your soul knows how to move with it. The key is not to resist, but to soften, to listen, to go within. The signs are always there, and they speak most clearly when we're silent enough to hear. In these times, your greatest survival tool isn't your strength or your smarts, it's your alignment. Choose stillness, follow your intuition, honor your inner voice, because the most powerful transformations don't come from outside forces, they begin within. What has your intuition been whispering to you lately? Number 3. The 12 birthdays. Imagine, just for a moment, that your birthday is more than just a date on the calendar. It's a key, a signal, a quiet call written into the cosmos. Today I want to speak directly to you, because what you're about to hear isn't simply folklore or superstition. It's a message wrapped in mystery, carried through time, and now finding its way into your ears. Among the countless predictions and visions of the renowned mystic Baba Vanga, there lies a curious and unsettling chapter, known only to her closest disciples. A secret list, encoded and hidden until recently. This list contains 12 very specific birth dates, each one believed to align with powerful shifts in energy, moments when the sun and moon pulse with unusual intensity. These 12 dates are not a promise of survival, but rather a signpost, a signal that if you were born on or near these days, there is something ancient in your bones, an inner call that might awaken when the world trembles. Here they are: January 5th, February 18th, March 27th, April 13th, May 14th, June 9th, July 23rd, August 2nd, September 19th, October 11th, November 25th, and December 3rd. Do any of these resonate with you? If one of them is yours, pause and reflect. What does it stir in you? Do you feel a sense of connection or curiosity you can't quite explain? According to the disciples' notes, these individuals are not guaranteed protection, nor are they chosen in a traditional sense, but they carry within them a certain resonance, a frequency, if you will, that might make them more in tune with the dramatic shifts expected to come in 2025. The notes suggest that this resonance is not just spiritual, but deeply energetic, something that links the individual with cycles of renewal and collapse. So let me ask you, what would it mean if your very birth date carried the seed of transformation? What responsibilities might come with that? And here's where it becomes even more intriguing. Just before her passing in 1996, Baba Vanga reportedly whispered a cryptic sentence to a nurse. It was ignored for decades, but now it's re-emerging in strange and powerful ways. They will walk among ashes with light on their foreheads. Do not fear the fire. The phoenix knows what it is. What does this mean for those with a birthday on the list, or those drawn to this message even if their date isn't named? The ashes suggest a world that's changed, perhaps even burned, and yet from that collapse, those marked by inner light will rise, not as survivors hiding in the shadows, but as beacons. Baba Vanga's vision reminds us that destruction and rebirth are two sides of the same coin, and those with light on their foreheads may be called to lead, to heal, or to hold the memory of a better way. Even if your birthday isn't on this list, perhaps someone you care for is. Could it be that their soul is waiting for a nudge, a reminder of who they truly are? Don't keep this to yourself. If someone's name came to mind just now, it might not be by chance. Share it with them. Whisper, or better yet, say aloud, "I hold the thread." Because whether you were born on one of these sacred dates or not, you are part of the tapestry. The world may shift, but the light is not lost. It is past. It is remembered. It is reborn. So I ask you, what if this story, this mystery, isn't about fate, but about awakening? What might you be waking up to? Thank you for being here and watching today's video. It means a lot to have you as part of this growing community. If this topic sparks something within you, I invite you to share your thoughts or reflections in the comments below. And if you're new here, simply write, "I am awakening," or if you've been with us for a while, type, "I am aware." Your voice and presence bring life to this journey, and your support keeps us moving forward. Now let's keep exploring the truth together. When the world shakes, what keeps you steady? In every great turning point in human history, certain souls are quietly awakened, not by the noise outside, but by a whisper deep within. Baba Vanga didn't just warn us about chaos. She offered a reminder that within every storm lies a doorway. The collapse she foresaw wasn't about destruction, but purification. And those who would walk through it unharmed wouldn't be the most powerful or the most prepared, but the most aligned, the most true. So if you've been sensing something changing, and if somewhere inside you a quiet voice has been calling, this isn't coincidence. It's time to come home to yourself, not to escape, but to become a lighthouse for yourself and for others. Number 1. Stay calm, even when the world feels loud. When the world feels like it's spinning out of control, political upheaval, financial stress, personal loss, or global unrest, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. The noise outside seems louder than ever. News feeds flash dire headlines, predictions stir up fear, and the voices of doubt echo in our minds. But in moments like these, the question we must ask ourselves is not what will happen next, but rather, is my inner world steady? Buddhism teaches that the root of both suffering and liberation lies not in what happens outside us, but in how our mind meets the moment. This is why the Buddha said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become." Training the mind is not about escaping the world or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about meeting them with clarity, courage, and calm. In today's fast-moving world, we can't always control what comes our way, but we can absolutely train ourselves to respond wisely. And this begins with stillness. Each morning, before the demands of the day come rushing in, give yourself the gift of quiet. It doesn't require a monastery or a retreat center, just a few minutes of sitting, breathing, and being present with yourself. Feel your breath enter and leave your body. Let your awareness settle like mud in a glass of water. That still point, the one that remains even when the world shakes, is not something you have to find outside. It lives within you, always. Think of the eye of a storm. Winds rage all around, but at the center there is calm. That center is your trained mind. As Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us, feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. The more often you return to this space of grounded awareness, the more it becomes a sanctuary, a refuge in chaos, not because life gets easier, but because you grow stronger. In modern life, our minds are constantly pulled by screens, deadlines, relationships, and fears. It's no wonder we feel scattered, but this is exactly why mental training matters. Just like physical muscles grow stronger through consistent exercise, the mind becomes more resilient when we nourish it daily with mindfulness and reflection. In a world that tries to grab your attention at every turn, choosing to center yourself becomes an act of wisdom and power. And remember, this practice isn't about perfection. Some days your thoughts will wander. Some days the noise inside might feel louder than what's outside. That's okay. What matters is your return to the breath again and again, like coming home. The 8th century Indian master Shantideva said, "We can't control the wind, but we can learn to sail." This is the essence of spiritual practice. Not the elimination of storms, but learning how to navigate them with grace. So in times of uncertainty, don't just ask what will steady the world. Ask what will steady you. The answer is in your willingness to turn inward, to observe your mind, and to train it with kindness and discipline. Make time each day for inner clarity, just as you would eat or sleep. Let your mind be the calm harbor in a restless sea. In doing so, not only do you protect your peace, but you become a source of calm for others too. When you walk through life with steadiness, people feel it. You become like a candle in the dark, not shouting to change the world, but simply shining. And that light is more powerful than you know. What small step can you take today to train your mind and find that stillness within? Number 2, your energy shapes your reality. When the world feels uncertain and life shakes beneath your feet, one of the most powerful ways to stay steady is to radiate kindness. This isn't just about doing good when it's convenient. It's about letting kindness shape the very energy you carry, the tone you set for your own reality. Spiritual traditions, ancient wisdom, and even prophetic voices like Baba Vanga have echoed the same core message. Your personal energy, your frequency, is the unique signature of your soul. Every time you choose compassion over criticism, when you extend patience instead of frustration, or when you offer forgiveness in moments when anger would be easier, you are actually tuning your soul to a higher vibration. These aren't just emotional reactions. They are conscious decisions that shift the way you experience the world and, more importantly, how the world responds to you. The mistake many people make is waiting for the world to change before they become the person they want to be. But the truth is, your kindness creates the better world. It doesn't come the other way around. That means the healing starts with you. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Sometimes it's as simple as listening with full attention, offering a genuine smile, or choosing to speak gently when your heart is full of irritation. These moments matter. They carry weight, and they ripple outward in ways you might never fully see. And if you're wondering whether these small acts are worth it, especially when no one notices, ask yourself, what did I do today to reduce someone's suffering? Or did I act from love, even when no one was watching? These questions are not just reflections. They are tools for self-awareness, ways to keep you rooted when everything else feels unstable. You see, when you begin living from this place of mindful kindness, your presence becomes a refuge, not just for others, but for yourself. Even in chaos, your calm energy becomes a light. People feel safer around you, not because you fixed their problems, but because your peace reminds them that stability is still possible. And this doesn't mean ignoring your pain or pretending everything is fine. It means honoring your humanity while still choosing the path of gentleness. That takes strength, not the loud kind, but the steady kind. The kind that's like a tree in a storm, bending maybe, but never breaking. So let's take this deeper. What kind of energy are you putting into the world today? Is it rushed, reactive, defensive, or is it thoughtful, warm, and open? When you shift your inner world, your outer world begins to respond. It might not happen overnight, but over time the kindness you plant grows into something unshakable. Here's the message to carry with you. You don't have to control everything to feel safe. You just need to root yourself in values that matter. Kindness isn't weakness. It's a quiet power that transforms both you and the world around you. Start small, be consistent, act from love, and ask yourself those two questions at the end of each day. That's how your soul becomes steady, even when the world is not. What would it look like if your energy became your legacy? Number 3. Release what distorts your frequency. When the world around you feels like it's shaking, whether from personal chaos, global crises, or just the overwhelm of everyday life, what keeps you steady? That's the question I want to ask you today. Because in moments like these, when everything feels unstable, what we hold on to can either anchor us or pull us deeper into the storm. One powerful path to stability is simplification. Not just cleaning your physical space, but deeply releasing what clutters your mind, weighs on your spirit, and distorts your natural rhythm. You see, we live in a time of overload. Too many notifications, too many opinions, too many demands on your time, energy, and attention. We've been conditioned to believe that more equals happiness, more success, more money, more followers, more things. But have you ever noticed that the more you chase, the less you feel at peace? Imagine your inner world like a clear, still pond. Every piece of noise, clutter, and distraction is like a stone thrown into that water. It disturbs the surface. It ripples through your thoughts. It fogs your clarity. So ask yourself gently, what in your life is distorting your calm? What are you holding on to that no longer serves your well-being? Is it the constant scroll of social media, the pressure to be constantly productive, or the emotional weight of relationships that no longer feel aligned with your path? Buddha once said, "It is not having much that brings peace. It is needing little." That's not just a quote. It's a profound invitation to shift your way of being. When you begin to simplify, you're not just getting rid of physical things, you're making room for meaning. You're choosing to tune back into your own frequency, that quiet inner voice that knows what truly matters. Sometimes we can't hear that voice because it's drowned out by the noise of the world telling us who we should be. But when you unplug from all that static, something beautiful happens. You begin to return to your natural state of balance. As Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, smile, breathe, and go slowly. There's wisdom in the pause. There's power in the space between all the doing. Even Baba Vanga, the mystic from Bulgaria, shared a similar message. Those who live simply, close to the earth, connected to the quiet, will be the ones who truly hear what's coming. Isn't that what we all want? To feel guided, to know what step to take next. But guidance doesn't come from force or noise. It comes from stillness. And stillness only comes when we stop filling our lives with distractions. So I ask you now, what can you begin to release today? What's one thing, just one, that you can let go of to bring more peace into your life? The path of simplification is not about deprivation. It's about liberation. It's about cutting away what is false so that what is true can shine. And when you align with that truth, you begin to see that steadiness is not something you find in the world. It's something you return to within yourself. The world may shake, The winds may howl, but inside you there is a still center that does not move. That is where your peace lives. That is where your power begins. So as we end this moment together, I invite you to carry this reflection with you. What would it feel like to need less and be more? If you've made it this far, you're already seeking the strength that holds steady when everything else shifts. Comment below with inner peace to affirm your journey toward balance and resilience. Don't go anywhere. There's still powerful wisdom ahead to help you stay grounded, no matter what life throws your way. Stay with us until the end and discover what truly keeps you steady. Number 4. Reconnect with nature. In times when the world feels unpredictable, when the headlines are heavy, relationships are strained, and the ground beneath us feels like it's shifting, one of the most quietly powerful things we can do is reconnect with nature and return to the earth's natural rhythm. This wisdom is not new. For centuries, across cultures and traditions, from Buddhist monks in quiet mountain temples to seers like Baba Vanga who sense the earth's vibration changing, there has been a shared understanding. The earth is alive and it speaks. But in the noise of modern life, where screens dominate our attention and every day is lived at a rushed pace, we've grown distant from that conversation. And yet, when everything else is unstable, the earth remains a steady presence under our feet, always waiting for us to come back home to it. This reconnection doesn't require a retreat into the forest or a dramatic life change. It begins with the smallest of acts, taking off your shoes and standing barefoot on grass, sand or soil allows your body to literally ground itself, an ancient practice now backed by science, showing that it calms the nervous system and reducing stress. Sitting beneath a tree isn't just a peaceful moment, it's a quiet return to the simplicity of being. When you watch the clouds drift across the sky, without needing to control them, you're reminded that life too moves in cycles, and that you don't have to carry everything at once. The sound of a river or the rustle of leaves becomes more than background noise. It becomes a meditation, a gentle reminder that even in chaos, there is flow and continuity. As we practice tuning back into the earth's rhythm, something subtle but profound happens. We begin to hear ourselves again. Not the anxious voice fueled by deadlines, fear, or expectations, but the quieter, wiser voice within that we often ignore. Nature doesn't demand anything from us, and that absence of demand creates space to remember who we really are when we're not trying to be someone else. It allows us to return to a state of being rather than constantly doing. And in that stillness, we gain clarity. We remember that we are part of something larger, something ancient and resilient. In today's world, where disconnection is common and burnout is worn like a badge of honor, this reconnection is more than just a comforting idea. It is a necessary medicine. You don't need to be a spiritual seeker to benefit from it. You just need to be willing to pause. Go outside. Let your senses lead. Listen to the wind, feel the sunlight, breathe. And slowly, the noise of the outside world begins to quiet. Not because it disappears, but because you've rooted yourself in something deeper, something steady, something true. So, when the world shakes, whether through personal loss, societal upheaval, or quiet internal struggles, remember this: nature is not just a place to escape to, it's a teacher, a guide, and most of all, a mirror gently reflecting back the balance and calm we have forgotten, but never truly lost. Reconnecting with nature is not about retreating from life, but about re-entering it with greater awareness, steadiness, and compassion for ourselves and for the world we're trying to navigate together. Number 5, trust your intuition. When the world starts to shake, when things fall apart, when plans unravel, and when life doesn't make sense, what keeps you steady may not be something loud or visible. It's often something quiet, gentle, and deeply rooted inside you. That something is your intuition. You might call it your gut feeling, your inner voice, or simply a deep knowing in your heart. It's not always easy to explain, and it doesn't always follow the rules of logic or reason, but it has a wisdom that runs far deeper than thought. Especially in times of uncertainty, your intuition becomes the most important compass you have. Maybe you've felt it before, a sudden knowing that you need to leave a job that drains your spirit, a strong pull toward a quieter life, a desire to walk away from something that no longer feels right, or an inner nudge urging you to begin again. That voice is not random, it's not foolish, it's your soul responding to what the mind cannot yet grasp. As the mystic Vanga once said, only those who listen to the whisper of the soul will avoid the scream of the world. There's a truth in that, a reminder that if we don't listen to our inner wisdom, the outer world will eventually become so loud, so overwhelming, that it forces us to change anyway. Why wait for the scream when you can trust the whisper? Now you might ask, but how do I know if it's really my intuition speaking? That's a beautiful question. Intuition often feels calm, even in the middle of chaos. It doesn't rush you or yell at you. It feels like clarity, like a light in the fog. Fear tends to be loud and anxious. Intuition, on the other hand, is still and steady. It shows up in your body too. A tightness in your chest when something's wrong, a lightness in your heart when something feels right. Can you recall a time when you just knew something without knowing why? What would happen if you trusted that part of yourself more often? The truth is, your intuition is ancient. It holds the memory of your deepest values, your truest path, and even lessons from past experiences that your mind has long forgotten. It doesn't always offer explanations, but it will always guide you toward wholeness. In a world full of noise, distractions, and outside opinions, trusting your inner voice can feel lonely. It can feel like you're walking down a road no one else sees. But that's exactly the point. Your path is yours alone. Others don't need to understand it. You just need to trust it. And every time you do, you strengthen your connection to your inner wisdom, your true self, and your natural balance. So today, ask yourself, what has my intuition been trying to tell me lately? Have I been ignoring that quiet voice because it doesn't match what others expect from me? What would change in my life if I listened more closely to that guidance? The world may continue to shake and storms may come and go, but when you are anchored in your inner truth, you are not easily moved. You become like a mountain, not because nothing affects you, but because your roots run deep beneath the surface. Lesson to carry with you. Your intuition is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. In times of change, let it be your guide. Trust the whisper of your soul, even when it doesn't make sense to others. That's where your strength lies. As we face the uncertainties of 2025 and beyond, remember this: the real preparation isn't about fear, it's about frequency. The ones who will walk through the storm untouched are not chosen by fate, but by the choices they make each day. To live simply, truthfully, and in harmony with themselves and the world around them. If something in this message stirred something in you, don't ignore it. It might be your awakening. If you felt a connection to this story or thought of someone who needs to hear it, share it with them. And if you want to continue exploring wisdom like this, subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom, like this video, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Because this isn't the end, it's only the beginning. Until next time, walk gently, live truthfully, and trust the quiet voice within.